All right, let me say hello and welcome to each and every one of you. It's Doug here, and I welcome you to another edition of Stock Market Mutterings, where my promise is you, I will take a grope in the murkiness. I'll try to make some sense out of this market for you guys. I will try to make some sense out of this. I will try to provide you with some trade ideas and setups, and I do hope that what we talk about today puts some money in your pocket. This will be for the week that begins on the 23rd. As always, if you need help with your personal trading, whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, a position trader, a momentum trader, we can help you. Somewhere here on the screen will appear a link. Feel free to join us each day for live trading. Now, before I get started, I do have a special announcement, and I do think most of you already know this by now, but I just want to clear the air. Because today, the Lincoln list is gone. Say goodbye to the Lincoln list. We be gone, guys. Now, wait a minute. I don't want you to get upset. I personally am not going anywhere. I will always be doing these videos. I will always be running the live trade room. I will always provide top quality trading education. I've just decided that going forward, it would be nice if I changed the name. I need a fresh start. It's a long story. I don't have time to talk about it now, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to try to reach out to more people, to try to spread the right way to take care of your finances, to learn a skill that will last for you a lifetime. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about trading, and I want a name that reflects it. Now, I already have that. I'm going to keep that to myself right now until I have all my social media accounts and everything. It may be already done by the time you see this, but just kind of letting you guys know the name is going to change. So say goodbye to the Lincoln list. We have new beginnings. Each and every one of us are going to grow together. So I put together a lot of different Black Friday specials coming in here as I make the transition. So also the link will appear on the screen. Feel free to do that. It's a good opportunity for each and every one of you to grow in a great community. We got some great changes coming up, and I'm really excited about this new change, and I'm also excited about 2021. So let's go ahead and talk here about the market, because if you saw the thing I said, we have a trade of a generation. Now, that's an exaggeration, but let's say the trade of the year possibly is lining up. So I don't want to go, I got the SPY here on the screen, but let me kind of back up here a little bit. Here's the one I want to talk about. I really want to address the Dow issue, and I'm going to pull up the YM futures, which is the Dow, and I really just want to look here at the daily chart. Now, this is about a trade that's manifesting over a couple of weeks, actually longer than that. Let's start pre-election. And one of the things I think that threw a lot of traders off out there is many, myself included, maybe you weren't thrown off, good for you, but we kind of thought the market was going to rally after the election, or we'd see some more clarity. Well, we didn't. The market's always good at throwing, a wrench in your plans, so to speak. And the market just starts taking off pre-election. It's just like ripping everywhere. So we get this rip. It goes right through the election and so on. Then 2 weeks ago, we get the first news about the coronavirus vaccine. I kind of lost my mind for a second. When we get the coronavirus vaccine, market goes, stupid parabolic. It was like 2,000 point gap up in the morning. I've been around for a long time. I rarely see garbage like that. This thing was just nuts. Hits 30K. I'm talking about the Dow here. Hits 30K for the first time. That was it. That moment right there was the high. And for the rest of the week, it chopped around. So I'm going to open this chart up just a little bit here for each and every one of you. So this is the day that it happened, huge gap. And for the rest of the week, this thing just kind of did absolutely nothing at all. Almost like deja vu. The following Monday, you have mRNA. Same thing, this time another monstrous gap up, sniffing that 30K again. And that was the high of the week. So the last 2 Mondays, you saw vaccine news followed by massive run-ups, flirting with 30K, and that marked the high of the week for the markets, not individual stock, but for the Dow itself. Now, what makes this very interesting is this 30,000 is a very emotional level. It's more emotional than it is technical. So for you guys that are learning to trade, one thing that you'll realize, and some of you already know this, that trade, market loves whole numbers, loves round numbers. You remember the good old days when they used to put the Dow 10K hats on, the Dow 20K hats on. I don't think there's anybody down there on the floor anymore, but if they were, they'd have the Dow 30K. Every time a stock or an indice gets a chance to sniff a round number or a whole number, it normally hits it. Stock trades to 95, most likely it hits 100, and so on. So this 30,000 became resistance. And I first kind of thought that maybe we'd see one more hurrah in there last week, but we didn't. And why I'm saying I think this is the trade of the year, the generation, however you want to put it, it's an exaggeration, but I think we have a very good trade with a short here in the Y. And let me give you two sides to this. Number one is the technicals. The technicals are telling us that 30,000 is just too much for this thing right now. It's 2 times tapping on that, is unable to close. Even if you get another whiff of this 30,000, there doesn't seem to be enough power left. The energy that's being expended into this rally is not enough to propel it that much higher. This is my opinion. Obviously, I could be totally wrong here, and I'm willing to say that I'm wrong and change my mind if that's how it turns out to be. Now, that's why I think your risk is there. Now, another reason I feel this is the shorter term top is that because you've already got all of the information out. You've already got the vaccines. They're talking about December. They're talking about the beginning of the year. The news is out. If another vaccine comes out tomorrow, it may cause a bump, but each bump in the market is smaller than the previous one, and it also immediately becomes the high of the week. So I think that's your kind of, so let's take a sector rotation back to sector rotation back to rotation. So what happened here is when this news came out, you remember that the first news with Pfizer, that the the stay-at-home stocks, those groups like ZM, Docu, Peloton, those stocks that got beneficial run-ups off of the coronavirus lockdowns, all just got murdered. They just got totally tanked. The market gets ahead of itself thinking everybody's going to go back to work, the world is good again. And now you're seeing that start to rotate back out that, okay, well, maybe this vaccine isn't good as we thought it was. It's not going to be ready for everybody. We're still going to go through possibly another lockdown and so on. You see other countries around the world doing that. You saw increasing cases in New York where they're closing schools. So that kind of got everybody thinking, all right, we jumped the gun here a little bit. That leads me to believe with that we've reached a short-term high over the next couple of weeks for this market. And I specifically think the very best strategy, risk to reward wise, is shorting the Dow, using the stop over 30K if it closes there or some other news comes out, and targeting something between a 5 to a 10% shorter term correction. I'm not saying that we're going to crash, collapse. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that's going to be the case. But I think short term in order, we are going to see a little bit more aggressive move out of the markets and out of some of those airline stocks that had gone up, those travel stocks that had gone up. I think they're more short biased now. I also think that the money will come back into those technology plays, and they're going to be on the board. So the first I'm going to start out with is one of my all-time favorites, my stock of the year so far, is Peloton. Now, it's a little bit late to go into Peloton first thing on a Monday morning, but this is what I was talking about. Once you saw that rotation moving out of the Dow stocks, you started to see a pretty good run up, and everything just exploded. You saw ZM go rip $30 here on Friday. You got a huge move out of ZM. You'll see all these charts look the same. They all look the same. I think you had the same here out of Docu. It's the same little ramp ups here, but I really like this Peloton. I think you're going to fill in the gap. I think there's more to the story than Peloton that people are willing to give it credit for. I think it creates an element of confusion where people don't understand. And the one thing that you guys have to understand is that when traders and investors don't understand something, that causes for it to squeeze. Example, Roku. People don't understand how it works. Tesla. They didn't understand how it works. Doesn't make sense. It rips. NIO. They're not quite sure why this thing keeps going up. Don't quite understand it. And it goes higher. And I think there's more to this story here. It's more than just a stay at home. However, it's also being beneficial for that. So I'm thinking you're going to see somewhere around the 110 to 115 run up on this, regardless of what the market does. Also, I think a great one is the King. The King is back, guys. You know our King, our one true King, our kind and gentle King, King Baba. Man, I tell you what, struggled a little bit with this one. We were trading this in the room, and I don't know, I took like 5 shots on it before it actually worked, to be honest with you. It was just going down every single day of the week. And then finally, Friday, it just explodes, and that's how it happens. These things just kind of take off. Now, I think because it's so destroyed right now that there's potentially 300 still in it. So there's 2 stocks that I'm giving you to watch here is Peloton and Baba going through the week. However, I don't think that's the best place for you to put your money right away. Just don't jump right into that stuff because I think you have to get a little bit of a pullback, let things settle in, and then see if these things actually have a little bit more movement to them or they're just going to be kind of one and done We'll find out. But I like both of these stocks, both BABA, both Peloton, for me at least. I think you also have some quick scalpers for the day traders out there. If you want to do some scalping, I think dip buying on Roku is a pretty good play. I would not swing trade this. It's just way too high for that. But just kind of keep that one there on the list. But I think when I'm looking down through, there's obviously other plays, but here's what I want you to focus, because you're going to have your own watch lists and your own group of stocks. I think you're going to see that rotation pull out now of those Dow stocks. The travel industry isn't ready. If they have a vaccine, you got to think about this. If you have a vaccine, first of all, there's going to be a lot of people, I'm going to talk about this later in like a rant or something. There's going to be a lot of people that might not want to take that vaccine because it hasn't quite been proven yet. All right, that's another topic. I don't have time for that. The next thing is, just because you have a vaccine in you doesn't mean you're going to feel like, okay, I'm cool now. We can all just start, slobbering in public, right? I can start traveling again. I don't necessarily think, there's going to be a lot of people that will, because they just don't give a damn about coronavirus. That's also another topic. But I think there's a lot of people that just not going to know. It's not going to be something where one day we have corona and the next day we don't. Like, okay, that's over. We move on with our lives. It's going to be a gradual transition. You also have an administration change possibly here at the beginning of the year. Possibly, right? And they may lean to a lockdown. So if this vaccine isn't quite ready, and a lot of people don't get it until the summer, I wouldn't be surprised. You guys are keeping up on the politics. I'm not preaching politics. I'm just preaching what things could happen. The new administration comes in and wants to have a lockdown. They're definitely leaning to that, so the United States can go to lockdown. We know that's not going to happen now because the current president has said that's not going to happen, but maybe the newer president does. You don't know. That's what I'm saying. So based on that knowledge, you could start seeing those stay-at-home plays ramp up again, because there could be another wave of a lockdown. You saw this throughout countries in Europe, Germany, France, Spain now, going into curfews, going into lockdowns. So I don't think my point is we're not going to wake up one day and this is going to be gone. It's going to be a gradual transition. So position yourself for that. I think we have a great short on the markets here, especially the Dow, SPY, maybe techs. I'd stay away from that one. There's better places to put your money. It will still be a stock picker's market, so pay attention to the leaders, the upgrades, the movers, and watch for that sector. See if that money starts to come out of those airlines, comes out of those other travel stocks, and starts moving back into the safe haven they call of tech. We shall see. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching this. Make sure you visit me. The website's going to be done over the next couple of weeks. New courses, new programs, just everything is going to be better for all of us, so we can learn together, grow together, because we're all in this together. So thank you for supporting the Lincoln List. Even though it will be gone, I'll still be here. We shall change and we shall move on. Take care, guys. Until next week, talk to you then.